Hi, and welcome back to another episode of AutoSuccess's Executive Spotlight. Today in the studio, I welcome Molly Meyer, the head of marketing for Gubagoo. Welcome to Executive Spotlight, Molly.
Hello, thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you, thank you. I would love to talk about one of Gubagoo's biggest points of conversation, which is conversational commerce. Can you explain what that is a little bit?
Happy to. Gubagoo at its core is a digital retailing and conversational commerce tool. Our big belief, and at our core, it's a really simple answer why we like to use the term conversational commerce, and it's that we believe communication builds trust. What we believe in is connecting the buyer and seller in real time, having a guided conversation around those questions that a shopper might have. So that's what we've built our product around.
When you say that it's connecting consumers and sellers with in real time, is this an automated system? Is this actual salespeople answering questions? Is it a combo?
It is a combo. So there are certain paths we know a shopper might take. They might be on a specific page or looking at a certain vehicle, and we know that. So we'll greet them with things relevant to either how they got to where they were as they're initiating this retailing experience. We have assistive technology that helps make that process really quick for both the shopper and if the dealer is watching this conversation happen in our tools on the back end. We really encourage dealers to watch these conversations or get notifications when these start so that they can enter a chat and now completely do their selling process through our messaging tool based on these steps of the retailing process, the trade valuation, the credit app, etc. We are a fully managed service though, so we do have a staff of agents that we hire and train and employ ourselves who handle these chats as well when there's not a dealership there or able and available to handle any conversations.
Well, with my consumer biases, not even just in the automotive industry, but just retailing online for any industry, I always just assume those types of chats are automated or AI or a robocall or what have you. So that's really interesting to learn that you do have a staff of people answering those chat questions.
We do, and actually that's a lot of our customers, our dealership customers are thrilled to know that as well. There is a stigma around the chatbot or just solely talking to a machine, and the safety and comfort knowing that there's a real human that will step into a conversation when there is a question or an exchange of information that doesn't make sense to a specific script or a workflow that is very satisfying.
Absolutely. Putting on my consumer hat again for a moment, something that's really important to me in the car buying process is feeling super educated about the process and how to navigate it and to make sure that I feel confident in what I am about to purchase, which goes back into what you were saying about building trust. So obviously a big part of that is conversation. So how should dealers communicate educational type aspects to consumers?
Sure. Well, throughout the online part of a transaction, specifically for a car, there are several steps that are pretty consistent. You know, you value your trade, you submit a credit app, you look for payment. For a dealership, it's really important to engage with a consumer throughout that journey or those steps. So it tends to be more effective when a dealership steps in and takes over a chat and says, you know, you look like you're pausing at this step. I'm here to explain what this part of the credit application is. We also have various parts of the tool that allow dealers to upload videos explaining certain F&I products, just to give the consumer the confidence to watch this 3-minute video and feel like they understand whether or not they should say, yes, that's for me, or no, that's not for me.
Awesome. That sounds really helpful, the videos. I really appreciate that aspect of it. Is it important in Gubagoo and in your opinion that the processes in the store mirror or as similar to as possible the processes online?
So what we find is the best consumer experience is if dealers are using the same tools in store as I did or used online when I started shopping on their site for a specific car. So you can, there are various features that we offer that give the consumer and the dealer that consistency. We call it showroom, but it's essentially the ability to stop at whatever point you want to stop at and feel comfortable stopping in your online transaction and walking in store and being greeted by a kiosk, by a tablet, by a salesperson walking you to a computer and seeing the same thing you just saw in your own home. That consistency, that's an expectation that most consumers have, regardless of how early or how late they dropped off on that experience.
So why are dealers struggling to have that seamless online to showroom experience for the customers? Is it just technologically not having the right equipment, not having the right software, or is it just not organizing the software correctly?
It's probably a combination of a few things. I do think that there's hesitancy in changing your process to be online focused first versus being in-store focused first. So changing that mindset and that process is a pretty big undertaking.
Is there going to be a point where we're skewed to a lot more people doing the process fully online, in your opinion?
Yes, yeah, and we see that in some of the consumer stats as well.
I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, cars are a lot bigger than a spatula or a t-shirt, but the decline in brick and mortar sales in almost every other industry, I have to imagine, is a great way to look at the future of car buying. I would like to talk about dealerships that you think are doing online retailing really well, and what do they do differently than dealerships that maybe are still working out some kinks of their virtual retailing program?
Sure. A couple things that come to mind. First is that the really successful retailers online understand the difference between lead forms and being there in real time and engaging with a shopper over your website, on Facebook, Apple Business Chat, whatever that method of communication is. There's a pretty big difference in servicing the customer in real time and conversing and communicating with them in real time versus the message that a lead form sends to today's consumer. We used to think that was a great way to get in touch with the business, but in reality, it's telling a consumer, given all of today's technology and what we know is available and how we can communicate with people in real time, if we're being asked to fill out a form, it's kind of like saying they're too busy to talk to me right now, but they want to get back to me in the following ways. Call me on my phone, which people don't love today, or email me. Maybe there's a text messaging option there, but for the most part, that's the way that a form fill comes across to a consumer. And it's really saying, I'll get back to you when I'm no longer busy, when I'm free. Mm-hmm. For today's most successful dealerships, they're utilizing the lead form a little bit less or relying on it less, or at least understanding there's a time and a place for it, and leading more heavily into the real-time conversation because that sends a message that I'm here on the channel you want to communicate with me on. I am here in real time. I can answer this simple question. You don't have to go somewhere else to get that instant gratification. You can get it from me. I'm going to invest that in our conversation. There's a couple other things that they do successfully. One is they market the retailing experience online. Some of our groups and our dealership customers brand their online checkout, their online retailing process with their own name, and they promote that. Asbury is a great customer and partner of ours, and they call their online retailing experience Cook Lane. And they promote it. They promote this really great experience, and it's a differentiator for them. We have several other customers that do that as well. They've either branded the experience or they put that message out there. It's all over their site, it's on their advertising, it's part of the core of who they are. They just let the consumers, the shoppers know that this is an experience you will get when you do business with me and with us. And that's what consumers want to hear. They want to know that that option is available. Whether or not they do 100% of it or 10% of it, they want to know that they can start their or finish their transaction online.
Absolutely. And if a dealership doesn't market it, how would the consumer know that's even an option?
If they don't market it, the one down the street might be, and then there goes an opportunity potentially.
Absolutely. What a great idea, ClickLane. I love that. The automotive industry is rapidly evolving before our eyes, and Gubagoo is one of the many organizations that are driving the industry forward. What does the future of Gubagoo look like to you? What does the future of the industry in general look like?
We are still at the core a communication mindset company. We believe in messaging. So our messaging and chat product will continue to get better and better. The types of information we offer dealerships about who's talking to them on their website is going to continue to evolve, so that not only can a consumer, we don't joke because it's real, but we jokingly sometimes say that you can buy a car, a consumer can buy a car with our tool online in the time it takes to add groceries to your cart online. But with our Reynolds resources now as well, that can be real for a dealership too. Looking at all the back-end tools that they have to go through using, really providing some of these, or removing some of these friction points will make their experience a lot less frustrating and as quick as maybe putting in groceries in their online cart as well.
Love that analogy. Obviously, you provide better customer experience on the buying side, but it sounds like you also help the dealer experience as well. So we definitely really appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining me in the AutoSuccess studio, Molly. Our guest in this executive spotlight has been Molly Meyer, the head of marketing with Gubagoo. Catch you next time.